Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Legends Live. We are in our weekly live stream program with the National Basketball Retired Players Association. I'm your host, Scott Rochelle. We've been doing this ever since the quarantine started, having a good time talking to the legends who represent the NBRPA on the NBA and WNBA side. I hope you had a chance to tune in earlier this week. Rusha Brown and Cappy Pondexter had an amazing conversation. If you want to check it out, it's on legendsofbasketball.com/legends live. We have all of our episodes there archived. I suggest you check that one out. So today we're going to talk about perseverance and resilience. And we have none other than the great Greg Oden here with us today. If we can bring Greg in, we can start a good conversation. Greg, what's happening, man?
What's going on, Scott? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. First and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. The family's well, spending a lot of time together, but we're enjoying each other. So we're away from everybody, so we're good.
Okay, that's good to hear. Everyone's got their own quarantine story, so I wanted to make sure you all were okay. Obviously, now you're married, you have a little one. Talk to us about what the quarantine looks like as a family right now.
Really, just trying to stay engaged in things. Me and my wife are both taking online classes, and then we're switching out days doing baby girl's homework from her little preschool. That's very challenging, but it's fun. I commend all teachers. Doing that work, taking her outside, making sure she's asking questions is different, but it's
Absolutely. No, that's good. We spoke to Karan Butler last week, and he lamented about how hard it is to do fourth grade work, and you've got preschool, it's kicking your butt. So I take my hat off to all of you. So you said you're taking online courses right now. We know that you went back to campus recently and finished up at OSU. Talk a little bit more about the courses you're taking right now and what the educational plan is.
I'm just taking a finance class, fundamentals of investment class online, just something to better myself and my current position in working with EduCore. Financial literacy is what I've been doing lately. So to just do something to expand my mind, to better myself, and to help me in my current position is something I wanted to do in this downtime.
Absolutely. And we'll talk a little bit about EduCore, but talk to us about you when you went back to OSU, you actually finished your degree.
Yes.
That was recent. That was in the last couple of years. What is the degree in first and foremost? And then I want to go into what the experience was for going back.
Bachelor of Education in Sport Industry. I graduated last May, so May 2019. I went back because when I got done playing, I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go with my life. I got back to being around basketball, so I was coaching. I was around the Ohio State University's basketball team. And I started thinking that if I wanted to coach basketball at a college level, you have to have your college degree.
Sure.
So while I was around and I had just recently retired, I had a lot of time on my hands. So I just decided to start taking classes here and there. And I looked up 3.5 years later and I was graduating.
Man, congratulations. That's wonderful because we talk to so many legends who want to get into coaching, they want to get into education, but they haven't finished those final requirements. So kudos to you for going back and finishing that piece up and really, not just finishing the education, but having a role at the school. Talk to us about what you did with the basketball program while you were back.
So first, I started off as the student manager, just one of the older players. They would let me be around, rebound, kind of mentor the guys. And then my second year, they kind of let me be the student coach. I wasn't getting paid because I was technically taking classes, but I was able to do everything. I was able to be in all the meetings. I was able to go to every game and do everything a coach and the players are doing. And for me, it got to open me up to what it's like to actually be a coach and to still have that relationship with the players. And I commend Coach Mata, Coach Thad Mata, and Coach Chris Holtman at Ohio State for letting me and putting me in that position and letting me expand my brain on the coaching realm.
Well, yeah, I know that you developed through this, but you had to have had a real impact on the students. Talk about what it was like for the students to have you there and the players to see one of the all-time Ohio State greats back working with and for them.
I guess they kind of looked at me as that old guy that was still around. But no, for me, going through a lot of the things that a lot of these guys, want to go through. Everybody's striving to get to that next level, and I've been there and had some downfalls and learned a lot through my time. So I was able to talk to them and actually give them my perspective and another perspective on what guys who have been there looking back have went through. And I hope that I made an impact on those guys and they were able to make some better decisions than I did when I was in college.
And you know what? You being there and having the role with them, it had to mean something. And it really is nice to hear the story of someone not just going back in their education, but being a part of the program that you helped build. Big Ten championship, national runner up. You are part of the culture at Ohio State, and so to go back and from the very ground floor and have that impact there is really cool. We're in April now. It's pre-draft time. There are young men out there who are preparing for their future. The young women just had their draft last week. Take us back to this time in your life. Where were you mentally, and what was it like to be preparing for the next level at the NBA?
It was a whirlwind. The one thing that happens quickly is, as you see, a lot of guys have to leave school early before that year's up, and they go and start training, just preparing for the draft and the workouts and the combines. So you're taken out of school right in the middle of it, putting into a new world, and you're just working hard. You're trying to get better. You don't really know what to expect, but as I tell every guy working out, push yourself more, because them workouts, no matter how hard you prepare for them workouts, it's going to be 10 times harder. I promise you.
Absolutely. So, in
Go ahead.
your current job now, you talk to athletes about the hindsight that you have in the preparation. If you could go back to tell yourself in your pre-draft right now, what would you tell yourself? The 18, 19-year-old Greg Oden preparing for the NBA, what would be the most important advice?
Personally, I would have been more in shape. Like I said, those workouts are no joke.
Okay.
Just preparing myself in that up and down tempo. When you're working out by yourself or with two or three guys, it's hard to get that full court run in shape like you really should be for those workouts. But also just mentally preparing myself for that next level. It's going to be a big change, and we're expected to mature pretty fast, within a few months. So just getting people around me to help me prepare myself for that next stage of life, helping me set up myself to be a young man and be in the best possible situation, making sure I'm getting friends around, whoever's going to be with me, family around, just setting up the dynamics of what my life is going to be like outside of basketball for when that next level comes, and basketball is just number one.
Absolutely. And your transition has been tremendous in my eyes, because you've persevered, you've continued to push through. You've had some ups and downs in the NBA, but you came back to the NBA. You came back to school. You're still working, but you're giving, you're giving back in the new role you have now. And talk to us a little bit more about EduCore and for how'd you get started with EduCore, first of all, and then talk to us about what it is and how you're impacting athletes.
So for me, I started talking at camps. As you see this shirt, I actually got at one of the camps, just talking to young kids, doing some work with the NBA and the PA. And I think I was recommended by both of them, just being a young guy in that transition stage. And it seemed like a really good fit for me at EduCore, which is a financial literacy company for athletes and entertainers. My role I kind of bring is, giving the guys what it's really like out here. When you're playing, when you're young, you're not really paying attention as much as you should. So as you said, in hindsight, I really feel like I should have been more engaged in my finances. I should have been understanding, setting myself up better for when I was done playing and retired. And that's what I like to tell these guys, to pay attention now. It's important to have a personal relationship with your CPA, have your financial advisor explain everything that's going on, explain these financial deals and investments that you're getting involved in, because one day you're going to be a grown man and you want to understand these things for your family.
Right. And so talk to us about how you got involved, with the financial piece of it, because we want to make sure that we're talking about, not, financial literacy is a great term, right? We toss it around all the time, but let's get into the nitty gritty of what really drove you to want to talk about financial literacy with these athletes who are playing right now.
So for me, retiring early, I just felt like I should have been in a better situation when I was done. And I understand I've made what I've made through my years, and I've been pretty decent, but I felt like I could be better. I felt like I could have done better while I was playing. I felt like I should have took more advantage of the opportunities that were given to me while I was playing. While you was on that court and you got millionaires coming to the games to see you. Take advantage of those relationships at that time while you're at center stage. And that's really what I want to, tell these guys is that it's a perfect time to get all your ducks in a row. You guys are getting big checks right now while you're playing professionally. And even the young guys, try to understand this stuff so you won't have, a financial advisor take advantage of you later on down the line. I came from a background. I'm thankful for my mom because she did a lot, being there, being in the meetings with my financial advisors. But I wish I was the one that did that because it was my money. I'm the CEO of me. So you need to be the centerpiece of all of this, and everybody needs to talk to you, and you should understand this, being that businessman that you are.
Absolutely. So if I'm a professional athlete, I'm listening to you right now because right now you're preaching a little bit.
I'm trying to.
So you mentioned you retired from basketball, but you're still moving around. You're still playing the game. You've been involved with the Big Three, and talk to us about what that means for you as an athlete, as a member of the basketball fraternity, to be able to continue on at a professional level.
The Big Three, I am so thankful for that company, Ice Cube, and everybody involved. For me, it was getting out there and playing basketball. My career was so many ups and downs with injuries. I felt like I was just working to get back to play that never came. Okay. And so with the Big Three, for me, it's the opportunity to get out there and play basketball with some of the guys that I've always looked up to, and some of the guys that I just enjoy their game. And I enjoy the competition again. And plus, I'm 7 feet and it's half court, so there's no running away from me. I got a little bit of advantage there.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you're not the kid you were coming out of Ohio State anymore. Talk to us, when you play professional level now, what does post game look like? What does it like to get your body ready for the next week and to prepare yourself both mentally and physically for another week of games?
I guess I actually like the week in between. My last year playing in the league with the Heat, post game was crazy for me. It was like, get the bags, ice for the next 30 minutes, and this is right after the game. So I felt like post game in the league was just recovery for me. For sure. And now actually having, a week in between, after a Big Three game, I get to enjoy the night with my wife and daughter, take a day off to kind of get my body right. And then get back out there working towards, being prepared for that next week whenever that game is. So I guess it's kind of a full circle. In high school, you can't really do anything. So after the games, you go back and hang out with your family. College is about school, just preparing for that next day. The league, you get to do whatever. Towards the end of your career, it's more about recovery and spending time with your family again.
Right. You mentioned something, taking care of your body. How important is that as you get older throughout your career and you put a few years in and you know a few things? So talk to us about what taking care of your body looks like.
For me, it's at least 30 minutes on the bike a day. I'm just trying not to get this excess weight because at my size, anything above 280, I'm obese. So really, I look at it now, taking care of my body is just being healthy, not overindulging in too much, trying to make sure I work out and I'm moving because my daughter's 3.5. I want to be able to move with her. And I've had so many injuries, she keep on coming up to me telling me like, Daddy, you don't got to play no more. And that hurts my spirit because I enjoy having fun on the basketball court, but she's right. It's about spending time with her and having fun with her. So, getting my body together is something that's very important to me.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to take it to a viewer question real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Greg, so that's a great tie-in with this question that we have from Matt Gittens of Boston, Massachusetts. And Matt would like to know, how did you mentally deal with injuries and stay motivated to keep coming back to the game?
Oh, gosh. I knew nothing else. For me, I love the game of basketball so much that the only route I knew was to get through this rehab period. So day after day, I knew that if I got in there and I put in the work, that was just one step closer to my goal of ultimately coming back. So I guess mentally, it was just understanding that if I push myself each day, take one step each day, that I'm eventually going to get to where I want to go and my goal.
Okay, and that's really that's really what we hear from a lot of the players, where the goal is in mind to continue on to play at a high level. And you took a couple 2 to 3 years off and came back and played at a high level. That's unheard of. And when we look at the story, I started this off by saying perseverance and resilience. You are the personification of those things. I love what's happening right now with you giving back, talking to the athletes. What else is on the agenda for you? What else are you looking to do in this next phase of your life?
Right now, I do enjoy giving back. I think that's a path that I want to head down. I'm loving the financial literacy because that's just going to help people in general, young people, better understand their finances. It's always going to be here in our lives. I think I do want to look into coaching as well. Basketball has always been a passion of mine, basically my whole entire life. So to be able to give back in that realm and teach some young kids the sport that I fell in love with would be something that I also want to explore.
Right.
For me, family's first. My daughter and my wife are my number one priorities. But anything I can do to help young kids bring some positivity into this world. I've talked about this with a friend of mine, but at 7 feet tall, when I walk into a room, everybody always sees me.
Yes.
And when I was younger in my career, I used to get anxiety by feeling like I'm in a room where most people know me and I rarely know anybody.
Right.
So the one thing I started changing in my thought process is be a positive person. I mean, I'm filling up the room anyways physically. So how do I bring some positivity into that room as well? So I always want to come in with a smile. I always want to treat people with respect and just be that guy that you can come to, even though I'm 7 feet tall and look like the mean green giant.
No, you know what? When I first met you a few years back at the first Cleveland chapter meeting, that's exactly what you exuded, and it was great to see you. First of all, see you there as a young guy coming in, get involved with the NBRPA, but that energy was infectious, and those 20 guys there, they fed off of that, and the chapter is thriving from that point on, doing really well. So that leadership really is loved. Speaking of leadership and coaching, your TBT team won the championship last year. They may be looking for somebody to walk the sidelines. What do you think?
I wish, but Jared Sullinger did a pretty decent job by winning it in his first go around and coaching. Yeah. So I think that's kind of lined up for him. And I love that the guys won that. Most of those guys were my teammates, a lot of them alumni. And I was very proud of them because I was actually watching the game. Their game ended about 30 minutes before my Big 3 game. They were in Chicago and I was in Milwaukee. And I was just very proud. A little disappointed that they decided to win it the year after I was done playing on the team.
Hey, you know what? Well, once you're part of the team, you're always part of the team. I mean, that's a family over there. I've seen that team play every year, and they've always been competitive. Talk to us about the Ohio State family and the alumni and how you all still connect right now.
Well, Coach Holtman right now is keeping it together. You know, that might have every year started a players and coach dinner where every player can come to this dinner, every manager, everybody involved with the Ohio State basketball team can come. And that just keeps us all together. A lot of us live here in Columbus in our off seasons. So
Right.
that brings us all together. You know, it's a big, we had a good little run of basketball players there at the Ohio State University who
Uh,
live here in Columbus. So it's just a great fraternity to be a part of, especially in this city too, because once you're a Buckeye, you're always a Buckeye. They show a lot of love, and we really enjoy being in Ohio.
Yeah, you know what? You all went from a football school to a basketball school in the years you all were there. Being an Illinois guy myself, I remember that, and it was pretty painful. But speaking of the Ohio State University, we have another viewer question.
Greg, I think you're going to like this one. Bobby from Washington, D.C. would like to know, how often do people yell OH at you in
Is very often actually. Here in Columbus, not as much. But when you're in the airport, like at All Star this past year, walking through the airport, I think I heard it at least 3 times. When you go other places, especially when there's a lot of Buckeyes around, they always yell out OH. And I really enjoy it, except when you're at places where there's a lot of Buckeyes, because it's not just the athletes that's supposed to say IO. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be everybody that went to Ohio State or live in Ohio. So
Right.
I advise most people, when you hear OH, just join in if you a Buckeye resident.
There you go. Too much pressure just on the athletes. So are you still working out? Just big three in your future?
Yes, I actually just got off the bike before I got ready to go on this interview. Being at home, I got a lot of time to just work on my body, do a lot of cardio, going outside, going on runs with my wife and daughter, and doing everything I can to make sure I'm ready for whenever we're allowed to play in the Big Three.
There you go. All right, Greg, we're going to wrap up here. But before I do, one more thing for the Ohio State fans. Favorite place to get something to eat in Columbus?
My favorite place right now is Eddie Merlot's. It's a nice little restaurant in Easton, kind of a wine restaurant as well, and I really enjoy it. Eddie Merlot's and Ocean Club, both in Easton Town Center. They're really good.
All right, you're a wine guy here. I see. You know what? The viewers didn't know that. The viewers are learning something about you today.
I'm a little bit of a wine guy. I gotta watch my sugars, so not too much.
There you go. All right, well, Greg, again, we really appreciate you. We're really proud of you. Want to continue working with you on everything you're doing there. You and I should connect on EduCore. As you know, we do financial literacy with the NBRPA. So anything we can do to help you, please let us know. But thank you so much for taking some time with us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate all the work you guys do, and I appreciate being a part of it. Thank you, and I look forward to more.
Thank you much. Take care.
Peace.
All right. That wraps up another one of our Legends Live episodes. Again, loving Greg and really doing the community with the players, with the students in Ohio State that we helped out, and now looking forward and really wants to be more. Obviously, at the end of our day, we'll keep him for him, and we'll do everything we want. Thank you again for tuning in with us. You can catch this episode and all our episodes at www.legendsofbasketball.com/legendslive. And so we'll catch you again next Tuesday for another new episode. Looking forward to seeing you all again.